Hello to all of our amazing, legit KidLit viewers. I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Alexis. When you were little, did you ever have a grown up come up to your face, reach down, and say, "Got your nose"?
Yes, I remember this happening quite a bit when I was a kid, and it always resulted in this face. But Got Your Nose is a new picture book written by Katz and illustrated by Alex Willan, recently published by HarperCollins. Today, we welcome Alan and Alex to chat about their book, Got Your Nose. And if you know either of them, you know it's going to be a fun and spontaneous episode. So, welcome, you two.
Well, thank you.
And I think we have a quick, fun video to start us off.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Alan, all right.
Ooh, got your nose. Anybody know whose nose this is? I got somebody's nose here. Anyone missing a nose?
I got your nose. I got your nose. Well, I had your nose. What? Where did I see it last? Okay. I had it at the mall. I put it on top of the car just as I am so sorry. I owe you a nose.
Got your nose. Wow. They got a hangnail on their nose.
Got your nose.
I'm so excited. Look what I got in the mail. I can't wait to see what it is. What? Oh no! I got your nose!
Hey, Scooby, you know what? I got your nose.
Oh, hey. Actually, you know what? Looks like you got just a little something right. Got your nose.
I got you. It goes on from there, but once you've seen Alex fall down with somebody's nose, that's all you need to see in life.
I wish I could say I got that on the first take, but the bruises on my knees otherwise. So
I hope you had pillows or something. Did you?
I did, but I didn't always hit my mark. So
Who knew noses were so wild?
right?
Oh my goodness. Well, first things first, let's get to know you both a little bit better by asking a few personal questions. But for fun, we're going to try something different. We are going to ask you questions about the other person, and you have to convince us it's the truth. This is similar to Alan's Liography book series, where everything is totally made up. So, Alan, what is Alex's favorite food?
Alex's favorite food, unbelievably, is meatloaf with whipped cream.
Oh,
It's a concoction that I've never tried, but we had lunch together in Chicago a few years ago. He had 4 portions.
Wow.
is that true, Alex?
I'm actually curious what that flavor profile would taste like. It's true, we did have lunch, but no, I think that my favorite food, if I had to pick one, would probably be pizza. Can't go wrong with a good pizza.
Yeah.
So, Alex, what is Alan's favorite food?
So Alan actually, at all times of the day, really likes breakfast burritos for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So there's never a wrong time for a breakfast burrito.
Well, that's close, but no, my favorite food actually is cantaloupe. Weirdly, I'm allergic to most fruit, but I'm not allergic to cantaloupe. So I eat much more than my share of cantaloupe.
So, Alan, if Alex could have an unlimited supply of something, what would it be?
That's a good one. I guess it would be meatloaf with whipped cream.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you don't have too much.
All right, Alex, if Alan could choose to have dinner with anyone in the world, who would he choose?
Well, that's a very good question. Although I do, I think several of his choices were just spotted in that video. So any one of them, I'm sure he'd be happy to sit down to. But as someone who, again, had lunch with him briefly 3 years ago, I think he picked me. I mean, who else is he going to pick?
Good answer. Good answer.
Every time I'm in Chicago, I want to have lunch with you.
Aw.
All right, back to you, Alex, again. What does Alan do when he's not making books?
So surprisingly, Alan is a competitive whittler. So he whittles competitively. So it's amazing to watch. If he can show us, it'll stun all of you.
Can you
It's,
show us, Alan?
Yes.
No,
show us your whittling
you
skills.
don't want me handling a scissor on camera. That's not. No.
Oh my goodness. And Alan, what does Alex do when he's not illustrating or writing books?
He actually is a competitive whittler too, and he mentioned it because he beat me in the Chicago International Whittling Competition of 1851.
Wow. That's
Never-
quite, I would love to hear this story.
Well, he won't let it go. All this time has passed. He keeps bringing it up.
It's true.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do we
It's
have
very
a
interesting.
video, a camera, still a photo of this or
Yes.
anything?
Yeah, cut to the clip.
We have the video from the 1851 technology. That's what. Yeah.
I do. I have it
read a
right
history
here.
book, will you?
It's not working. It's not coming up, guys. I can't get it up.
Yes.
Maybe
it was
next time.
Abraham Lincoln and his iPhone were sitting there. Recording and he was the judge.
All right, so
Be
kids,
sure
this
to-
is the time to research and double check for fake news right now.
Yes. Reliable sources.
Oh my
Credibility.
goodness.
All right. Now, for real, Alan, we'd love to hear how you came up with the idea for Got Your Nose.
Well, I always say, I visit a lot of schools, and I always say, you never know where an idea is going to come from. And with this book, nothing could be further from the truth. Nothing could be closer to the truth. Which is it? Nothing could be the truth. My son lives in Chicago. Oh, not Chicago. Well, I have a son in Chicago, but the son I'm talking about now lives in Washington, although this week is both his birthday and the fact that he's moving to New York City, which we're very excited about because I'm in Connecticut. But he was getting on the train in Connecticut to go back to Washington, D.C. And he hugged me because we're a very affectionate family. And he gave me a kiss on the cheek, which are certainly appropriate. And then he reached out. He said, "Hey, Dad, got your nose." And he went like that, as people have done, and uncles and aunts and grandparents do. And he put it in his pocket. And I said, "Wait, don't take my nose to Washington, D.C." And I laughed. And then I got back to the car after the train left. And I said, "Wait a minute, got your nose? That'd be a funny idea for a book." And did some writing and did some rewriting and some rewriting and some rewriting, because kids know and adults know that nothing is perfect the first time you write it. Nothing's perfect the second, third, or 12th time you write it. You got to keep working at it and make sure punctuation is correct. Make sure it's the story you want to tell. And that turned into the book called Got Your Nose. And then David Linker, who's a fantastic editor at HarperCollins, said, "Yeah, let's do that book." And then I have to say it, and at the risk of being nice, which I hate to do. No, I'm always nice. But he got Alex Willan to illustrate, and I was so excited and so thrilled, and never more excited now that it's a real book, because the man on the screen next to me is just an extraordinary illustrator, and he'll tell you more about that. But it came from my son saying, "Got your nose," and now it's a book a few years later, which is just extraordinary. And a wonderful, wonderful story that I told very, very well.
You did.
Agreed.
I visualized it. That was awesome. So where's the nose now? If he took it with, did you ever get it back?
Right here.
Okay.
It's actually a pencil sharpener that you can sharpen. You stick it right in the nostril, and there it is.
Brilliant.
But kids, only use that particular pencil sharpener. Do not stick a pencil up your actual nose.
That's good advice.
Disclaimer.
And also, don't stick anything but a pencil in any pencil sharpener.
Yes.
Good
Full
one.
of words of wisdom.
All right, let's talk about the nose design. Speaking of noses, and is it just nose, or does it have a special name, Alex?
I just refer to it as the nose.
The nose.
Yeah, but yeah, it was interesting. That was and thank you, Alan. Yeah, I was thrilled when I got asked to be a part of this, and I read the script, and it was so funny and so much fun. And I that was sort of the biggest challenge was designing a nose that sort of had a character onto itself, because again, it doesn't have a mouth to smile or frown. It doesn't have, eyebrows or anything to give it emotion. So, and it took me a while to figure out the design because I kind of kept drawing the nose the way we see it on each other's faces, upright. And so it looked like the legs were coming out of the nostrils, which was kind of weird. And it didn't really have any sort of directionality to it. And then it was the simplest thing of just rotating it back so that now the nostrils were facing forward, which would make sense because, that's what's leading the nose anyway, are the smells. And then suddenly the nostrils sort of became the eyes, and you can kind of, squint or, changed, giving it a little more expression. So that was kind of the biggest challenge, but it was weird how just that simple little, tweak, and suddenly it all worked out, and suddenly he had a character unto himself.
So can we see a sneak peek of the nose, or is it like exclusive, can't see it until you buy the book?
No, he is on the back. If I can, oh, nope. So you can see he's got little arms and legs. And that was the other thing too, is again, because he lacks so many features, is suddenly his poses, the way his arms and legs are bent, add a lot to, what he's feeling at the time, or at one point he's, holding a flower, and it's a very, very dramatic pose for a nose to be making.
That's funny. Now, Alan, did you have any say in its design, or did you just trust Alex's creative process?
Well, I would trust Alex's creative process. Seeing his other books like Yetis are the worst and Unicorns are the worst, all I can do is sit back and admire. But more than that, I have no artistic ability whatsoever. I know
that's not true.
I know
outside of the whittling.
I know what's good when I see it. And as an author, what's funny is, because Alex is an author too, he'll know this, although probably not in the same way I do. You write a manuscript, you polish it, you make it right, then it's in the illustrator's hands. And it's not a matter of trust, it's a matter of excitement and anticipation. Because the first sketches that I saw come back, I went, oh my gosh, that's even better and funnier and more thrilling than I could have ever envisioned, because I've worked with many different illustrators, and some have a style that I think, well, how are they going to do this? And when they do, I'm always in awe and appreciative, and just admiration doesn't begin to describe it. So when I saw what Alex did, bringing the nose to life, bringing Grandpa Max and Becky to life, the story is kind of a romp, because the nose runs away, because after all, noses run. And there are pages in the book that I just keep going back to. I spoke at a store yesterday. I was with quite a few young readers, which I love doing, and I think Alex did the same yesterday in his own part of the world. And everybody was just laughing and saying, "Show us that page again! Show us that page again!" And it's called a picture book because pictures drive the story. So I am so indebted to illustrators, and specifically to Alex for this book, because it came to life. If you just read the words, you'd laugh, hopefully, but the story is told through images, and I really salute what Alex did.
That's cool.
Thank you so much.
That's really cool. Yeah. So Alex, we heard that you included someone special, someone you know pretty well in the book. Do you want to tell us more about that?
Yes, and it's so funny that you brought that up now, because she was just pawing at my leg. So my dog Harley, she's like, pay attention to me. Yes, I have a dog named Harley. She's a terrier whippet mix, and one of the fun things when you get to illustrate a book is you can do something like adding your dog. So there's Harley in the book.
Yay!
So she was standing here next to me, and that's one of the things I really like to I was just showing while I was at my visit here in Louisville yesterday. And I have a slide of a picture of Harley, an actual photo of my dog, and then have that next to it, and kids get a kick out of that, because as I'm sure Alan, I'm sure all of you all know, like, learning about your dogs or your pets is like one of the most interesting things to every, school visit and every kid.
Yes.
So not only getting to see my dog, but then see her pop up So that was really fun, and an extra treat for me to put her in. And yeah, it's always like I always like finding ways to make those because it's when you have to fill out a scene or whatever where it's just like, oh well, this character is here and this character is here and they're the important part, but there's all this stuff in between. Is what can I do to still make that kind of fun? I was always a kid who would just pore over every book forever, just spend hours looking at every detail. So I like to include as many details as I can.
I love
That's so
that.
cool. Yeah.
That's fun, and it's cool to like hear the process behind, authors, illustrators putting in those. Or did they call them Easter eggs? Like putting in those things that
Yeah.
kind of might match to other books or match to their life, connect with their life. I don't know. I don't know why it's called Easter eggs or if that's even the right term, but I always think that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Alan, would you be willing to walk us through just a quick little brainstorming activity? We talked about how ideas sometimes come from real life and stuff like that. Can you walk us through a quick brainstorming activity?
Well, sure. Very often, if you ask yourself a question, what if? So many kids when I visit schools say, I don't have any ideas. What am I going to write? What am I going to write about? And I say, well, here's a pencil. What if this pencil could write by itself, kind of like a Tesla car drives by itself? What would it write? Start writing what the pencil would write. Or, here's a cup. What if you filled that cup and it was like the everlasting gob something from Willy Wonka, where when you filled it and you drank, it would fill itself again. Like kids are like, that's hilarious. I said, well, it doesn't have to be hilarious. But if you ask yourself, what if this pencil could write a message that would create world peace or no more hunger? Well, that's not funny at all. That's a serious thing. But the what if question is often a way to start. If we were all going to write about a squirrel, some would write about a squirrel who has superpowers. Some would write about a squirrel that can talk. It just starts in one place and we all go off in different directions, because I would write something different than Alex would, or you would, Alexis, or you would, Tiffany. We have different experiences. We have different knowledge. You can write about your family. You can write about your friends. You can write about your pets. I don't have any pets. But I will write about Harley from now on. I didn't get a dog because my mother was bitten by a dog when she was 8 years old. And even though I promised her that the dog we would get in the 1980s wouldn't be the one that bit her in 1927, she wouldn't get a dog. So I have no pets. But just write what you know, write where you've been, where you want to go, what you want to do. And a whole sea of ideas start flooding in.
That's beautiful. And it sounds so easy, but I don't know if it is, but I'm going to try this. I'm definitely going to try this with my students.
Writing, like anything. I mean, I always say, it's like you don't step up to the plate when you're playing softball or baseball for the first time and hit a home run over the fence. You don't. You miss the ball, or you hit it this far and then that far and then that far. Same thing with tennis, same thing with basketball. You miss your first 42 shots and then suddenly you're sinking baskets. Same thing with writing. The more you do it, the better you do it. I think I've said it on your show before, but the more you write, the better you write. The more you read, the better you read. The more you read, the better you write. The more you write, the better you read. It's hard to say, but it's a good fact. Keep it up. Keep doing it. Because every job, no matter what job you do, is going to involve writing. Whatever you want to grow up to be, a teacher, a doctor, a librarian, an illustrator, an astronaut, every job has writing in it. Do it well now, you'll do it better next year and the next year and the next year. And I suppose the same is true with illustration, right, Alex?
Well, I was going to say, because that reminds me too, is I feel like for a lot of kids with drawing, again, it's that fear of the blank page is, what's the first line, I put down, and it can be kind of nerve wracking. It's kind of the same thing with, writing, what's the first line I write, and everything. And so again, it's like, if you have a blank page, just draw a squiggly line in the middle, and now it's not blank. And then look at that squiggly line and think of what it could turn into. Does it look like the horn of a rhinoceros, or does it look like a nose running down the street? But it's like, once you get over the fact that it's not a blank page anymore, now you can just let your imagination run and see where it takes you, because the pressure's kind of off. And I think it's the same thing where you're coming up with an idea, just put a sentence down, see where that goes. And if it doesn't go where you want it, that's fine. You can back up and go down another path with it. So yeah, I think it's just getting over that initial anxiety of starting something and just getting to start it and see where it goes.
And don't feel like you have to be perfect the first time. As I said, that's why pencils have erasers. That's why keyboards have a delete key. Famous story, my son David once had to write 100 words about something we did the previous weekend. And I saw him counting 96, 97, 98, 99, 100. And he put it in his backpack. I said, let me see that. Let me see what you wrote. And he said, what? I have 100 words. And I said, do you have the right 100 words? And I looked at it, and it was about us going to a Mets game. And by the way, the Mets will win the World Series this year. That's been decided. Huge Mets fan. And he wrote about going to the Mets game. And 60 of the 100 words were about parking the car. And I said, wait a minute. They know you parked the car. How about telling them that we had box seats? How about telling them the game went extra innings? How about telling them the Mets won it in a walk-off home run? How about telling them you got an autograph? What about all that? And he said, oh, you're right. And he took out the beginning and he made it a much better story. I will also say that the first sentence said, my dad and I walked from the car. And I said, what's from? And he said, now I have 99 words. And I said, it's not about having 100 words. I bet your teacher is not going to count to 100. 100 is a goal, but the right story is the real goal. And you can always rewrite. Nothing is perfect the first time you write it. And take the time to review your work. Anybody who says, take another look or revise it is doing you a big favor. And I'm sure that's true with illustration too. Right, Alex?
Oh, yes. And I think that, having gone to school and been through so many critiques of art assignments is, you sort of develop a skill set of, because it's hard to take something personal that you've made and put it up in front of someone and have them tell you what's wrong with it. But you learn that they're just trying to make it better, and it can always be better. So yeah, every time someone wants to, have me take another pass, change something, I'm always, like I said, I'm excited because that means they're seeing a potential there that maybe I didn't see, a direction it could go that I wasn't picturing, and that's something that's exciting and not something that's to be afraid of. So
true. Very sound advice here today, and our time has gone by so quickly, but we do have one more quick question for you. Obviously, we need everybody to go out there and grab this book, but other than your own book or your own books, what is one children's book that you would recommend to viewers?
It's hard to pick just one. There's so many great books being made right now. I'm a big fan. Even though I did have a unicorn book come out, but around the same time that Not Quite Narwhal came out, and I absolutely love that book. And so I definitely have recommended that to a number of people. But I mean, I could list, easily 100 books that I'm like, everyone should have these books.
Definitely.
Same here. You saw two people in the video you were trying to show. Anything by Nick Bruhl, Any Bad Kitty book, and he's got a new one out now. Any Bad Kitty book, you will laugh yourself silly. And really any Dan Gutman book. And again, I'm recommending two books that are funny, but two authors and illustrators who are funny, but humor is a good thing. And there's a new book by Sarah Albee, who you also saw in the video. She's the one that put the mask on. And it's Something in Trousers, and it's the story of some pioneering world leading folks. That's nonfiction. It's an excellent book. I'm sorry, I don't have the exact name, but look up Sarah Albee, Albee. By the way, I do want to say about Got Your Nose, be very careful when you go to a bookstore to buy it, because many of the copies were printed upside down. So make sure you get a copy. No, I'm totally kidding. That's just
I'm like, wait, what?
You got me.
I'm so sorry. See, it's easy to do that with a book. There are some that are sideways also, but you want a copy that is like that and opens like this. So, by the way, look at that, the end paper.
Oh,
there's the nose doing many some activities. Alex, that's just so good.
Thank you so much. I think one of the biggest challenges was there's on the end papers, he's dipping a teddy bear like they're dancing, and trying to figure out how to have the teddy bear sort of.
Oh my word!
Yeah, these are the weird challenges that you find yourself,
That's
Aw.
amazing.
Yeah. So
That's
like,
cute.
what other career are these the problems you're solving? Is how do I make a nose dip a teddy bear?
Oh,
Well, I do have to say, I don't
cool.
know if you saw this review, Alex, but somebody reviewed Got Your Nose and said a nose wouldn't go swimming. Nobody likes water up their nose. And it's like, why? Just roll with it. Run with the fun of the silliness.
No,
Right.
stop right there.
You went too far with swimming.
I miniature golf.
Well, thank you so much. You two are amazing. And readers, you better go out. I already looked up the book and got it saved on my phone. So you better go grab a copy. And we hope you enjoyed our show and are inspired to pick up some incredible and inspiring books.
Yep, and we'll be back again next week with some more KidLit fun. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you for all you do for kids and reading and all that good stuff.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you all
Of
so much.
course. Same.
Yeah.
All right.
Take good care.
Bye,
See you next
everyone.
week.
Well, everybody. Bye.
Thank you.